Go now to an interview I recorded earlier with Reilly O'Brien. He's an Adelaide Crows ruckman. He's one of the brainiest people in footy. He got so many degrees and he's studying neuroscience as we speak. And I wanted to talk to him about concussion in footy, a big issue in the NRL, in rugby and in the AFL at the moment when it comes to legal challenges and protocols. Here's Reilly O'Brien.
Absolutely, yeah. It's obviously a growing issue in sport and society, and it's something that's sort of come to the forefront in the last few years. And I mean, growing up, there was no commentary around it, and now it's sort of, you hear about it everywhere. And it's certainly concerning, especially as you get on in your career. Probably early days, you're pretty tunnel vision. You're not really thinking about long-term consequences. And you also think, you know, it's not going to happen to me. So as you get older, and especially as you look to life post-football, when you're going to have to use your brain, you're certainly thinking about the effects of these things. And it is pretty scary seeing some of the things that are happening to guys post-career.
Yeah, you'd have a very good medical understanding of it. You've studied science, and you still might become a doctor post-football. You're still studying now, but also on a personal level through Paul Seedsman, the former Collingwood player who was playing very good football at Adelaide up until 2 years ago. He's missed now 2 seasons and really is facing premature retirement because he just can't get over the effects of concussion.
Yeah, it's certainly scary, and yeah, as you said, I've done a bit of reading in this, and I'm studying neuroscience at the moment, and yeah, the amount they don't really know about concussion is yeah, it's crazy. They speaking to researchers, they know between 1% and 5% of sort of what there is to know about concussion, and yeah, in Paul's case, he wasn't really one of those guys with CTE or repeated head knocks that started having symptoms. He was just off one sort of incident, which is pretty innocuous. So. Yeah, it's certainly those 2 different types of injury, I guess, from one injury or from repeated head knocks. And yeah, there's a lot we still don't know about concussion. It's certainly a growing field of research.
Now, the clubs are doing a lot in this. The AFL and other codes like the NRL are putting in protocols and the like for independent doctors to examine players to make sure people get the appropriate treatment before they return to the playing field, whether that's within hours or within weeks. Are you comfortable that the sports are doing everything they can to keep players safe?
Yeah, from my point of view, I think it's really sensible. The current guidelines in the AFL, they're pretty on top of it. We've got a 12-day protocol in the AFL, and it actually is pretty stringent and pretty hard to get through. I haven't been through it myself, fortunately, the last couple of years, but speaking to guys that do sustain a concussion, it's a lot of hoops to jump through to get up within that 12-day period, and it's a very strict protocol. So, yeah, I think the AFL are doing a lot in that space, and they're certainly, I guess, trying to cover their own end and also look after the players, which is good. So. Certainly, I think they're doing enough, and it's certainly the research is growing and can make more informed decisions as that research grows.
What about former players? We're seeing former players in the AFL and NRL now taking legal action. Obviously, their claim is that clubs and the competitions should have done more in the past. Do you feel for them and for their claims? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you certainly feel for those guys that have sustained head knocks in the past, and now they're having symptoms post-career, and it's affecting their life and their personality post-football. It's really sad to see, and I think especially probably 20, 30 years ago, the game was sort of a different sport. There's my old footy coach who played in the AFL. He would have had 20 head knocks, he told me, and knocked out another 20 guys. So thankfully the game's progressed from there, and we protect the head now, but it's certainly sad to see guys who are suffering from that stuff, and absolutely open and they should be looked after post-football, but it's certainly sad to see and scary for, I guess, the current players coming through.
Yeah, it's different now. In many ways, a harder, faster game, but as you say, at least a lot more focus on protecting the head. And speaking about the game, Reilly, I'm so looking forward to your first game, the Crows' first game for the season on Sunday. It's in Sydney against the Greater Western Sydney Giants. I'll be there. You're fired up for it and looking forward to the season ahead?
Yeah, can't wait for the footy season. It's finally here after months of training and talking about it. So now I can't wait to get to Giants Stadium this week and hopefully notch up a win for the Crows, and hopefully can see you there in your Crows Guernsey screaming loud, Chris.
I will be for sure. Thanks very much for talking to us, Reilly. Cheers.
Thanks, Chris. Much appreciated.